There it is.
We'll call this meeting to order. Will you stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have a roll call, please?
Vaughn,
Here.
Kurtz,
Here.
Hayward,
Here.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Here.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Loughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next is public comment. We have one person who has written in. Let's see. Public forum, this is a time set aside for visitors and public comments only on topics of city business other than those listed on tonight's agenda. Please understand that the council cannot take any action on your comments at this meeting due to requirements of the open meetings law, but may do so in a future meeting. Each speaker will be allowed a minimum of 5 minutes to state their comments, and we thank you for your cooperation. Ruth Hamilton, would you please come forward, give us your name and address?
My name is Ruth Hamilton. My address is 2026 Pine Creek Avenue, Independence.
Thank you.
Okay, and I'm here on behalf of the garden clubs, the Quest Creek Garden Club, the Independence Garden Club, Master Gardeners, and the VFW. And we have initiated the process of putting in a blue star marker near the Veterans Memorial in city at the courthouse. And I know that has some handouts that might explain it a little better for you. Give you the idea of what it looks like. So the Blue Star Memorial, the name was chosen for the star flags displayed in homes and businesses denoting a family member serving during the war. Garden clubs pictured a ribbon of living memorial plantings traversing every state. The designation of a Blue Star Highway was achieved through petitions by state legislatures and cooperation with the Departments of Transportation. And a uniform marker was designed to identify the highways. And these are placed in civic places in the community, and veterans hospitals and places like that, in commemoration of all those who have served in the armed forces, who have served, who are serving, and then for future armed forces members. And you can see the picture. It's a very nice memorial, and it's weather resistant. It'll last forever. There's no upkeep, and it's been paid for. So I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for a thing. Just to kind of let you know that this will be placed at the courthouse near the Veterans Memorial.
When will that happen, you know?
Well, in about 6 months, about the time of when they commemorate the Veterans Memorial.
Great.
Yeah, it takes that long. And in the second page, it costs like around $1,500, and all the money has been submitted, and the names of the 2 garden clubs, the Master Gardeners and the VFW, will be on the plaque itself.
Fantastic.
Pretty good size, too, so you won't miss it.
Good.
Very
Good.
nice.
That's all I have. I just
Thank
wanted to
you.
let you know, so when you look at it, you'll say, oh, yeah, I know what that is.
Wonder where that came from.
From Desert?
Uh-huh. Good to
Thank
see you.
Good to see you, too. That's it. Thank you for your
Thank you
time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ruth. Okay, next I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the April 22nd, 2019 regular meeting, city financials for the month of March, city budgeted and monthly transfers for the month of March and April, Casey's General Store 3292 Class B wine permit, Class C beer carry-out permit, Class E liquor and Sunday sales license, June 15th, 2019 through June 14th, 2020. Casey's General Store 2239 Class B wine permit, Class C beer carry-out permit, Class E liquor and Sunday sales license, June 1st, 2019 through May 31st, 2020. Crowbar's Class C commercial outdoor service and Sunday sales liquor license, May 5th, 2019 through May 12th, 2020. in Old Rush Park Tavern Class C Commercial and Sunday Sales Liquor License, May 30th, 2019 through May 29th, 2020.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Motion by Kurtz,
We had a problem.
We have, yeah. Go ahead, Danny.
The way I understand it, it's the Crowbar that's asking for this extension of the license. Is that what it is?
it doesn't say extension, it just says,
Well, they want it Sunday sales and also
Outside.
beer garden, outside permit. Is that true or not? Is that what they're asking for?
Yeah, the attachment was a submission that we received from Iowa ABD saying that the Crowbar was asking for their regular Class C liquor license to have outdoor service and Sunday sales.
Oh, they're asking for a liquor license, period?
Yeah.
They're not asking for an extension on,
It doesn't say anything to that effect. It just says term 12 months and the effective date on the attachment, and that's all I received from ABD.
what I understood was they was using the Legion's liquor license and they wanted an extension on it. That's not what's going on here?
I'm not sure. All I know is each entity must apply for their own liquor license, so maybe they weren't able to use the Legion, so they had to apply for their own. I'm unsure.
Well, I think we ought to table this until we know for sure what they're doing.
What you have in front of you is the consent agenda. If you want to pull one of these off of there and have a discussion, you can do that. But at this point, this is all consent agenda items, so if anything on there is causing you consternation, I recommend you take it off of there for discussion.
Okay, let's take it off there for discussion.
That would take a motion.
That was a motion.
we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, but we haven't got a second yet, did we?
Well,
Can he
you can't
amend
approve it if you
Okay, well, now listen, we haven't got a second to that. So, John, you could possibly amend your agenda of approving the agenda minus that particular item.
I would like to move that we approve the consent agenda less the Crowbar Class C request.
Okay, number 6. Okay. Thank you. Do I have a second
I
to
second
that
that.
motion? Okay. You don't need a roll call on this, do you?
And we
Since there's
shouldn't,
been
since it's a
change.
consent agenda. It's just a consent agenda,
So-
so just anyone in favor will be fine.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next is a motion to approve the claims for payment.
What do we do with this?
This will come down, I'll put it down on the agenda a little bit later down.
Okay.
What's coming down?
I'm going to move the Crowbar license down for discussion.
Okay.
Motion to pay the claims.
Motion from Hayward, second
where we're
from
at.
Yes?
Hill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion's carried. Next on the agenda is petitions from the public. Believe 5K Nikki Robertson event. Hi. Good.
I'm Nikki Robertson. I live in West Branch, Iowa. But I'm here for the Believe Run that we hold every year in honor of Audrey Fitzgerald to get approval for using the streets. This year, the money's going to the library. Same route, same everything.
I make the motion to approve this.
I second it.
Okay, thank you very
Encourage
much.
everybody to walk it
Yeah.
or run.
It's on Saturday.
This coming Saturday?
Yeah,
Okay.
They signed already.
yeah.
So I have a motion from Hannah, seconded by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say
This will be
aye.
a roll call.
Aye.
This one you have to have a roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Hayward?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Shar?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
I'm
Thank
glad
you.
these don't include the
Motion is-
council needing to.
Motion is carried.
Next year, maybe next year.
Thanks for doing that, folks.
Thank you. She's trying to get rid of me.
Library gets some-
Okay, next on the agenda is Dan Kimball with an update on a progress for First Street East.
Kind of a two-part update on that, and then some news on the Highway 150.
Are we done yet?
Well,
I hope
news
not.
is, so, with the last couple weeks, we've made really good progress on the First Street project. I wanna start off, I guess, and say the Facebook page that we put together, has had tremendous support, with people sharing that. We've actually done something similar with University Avenue in Waterloo, and we by far surpassed the amount of people that were viewing the page, than they did in Waterloo, where obviously the population, there's a drastic difference there, so.
It's the same thing
People
going
are
both
definitely
ways.
concerned with what's going on in the city here, which
That's
is a
First
good
Street,
thing,
this
because
is
we
150,
have
you can have them
informed
both.
of traffic shifts, and everything along those lines, construction progress on the Facebook page, so it's getting used widely, and we haven't had really much pushback as far as complaints or anything like that through the page too, so that's always good to hear when you get that construction started off. Within, like I said, the last couple of weeks, we've really started making pretty good progress in the Fifth Avenue intersection. All the utilities in that area are in, so the water main is in and the sanitary sewer improvements in that area are completed. They've currently pressure tested the water main and they're working on the testing, the bacteria testing, which is required, 2 different tests before that can actually be live, when the water actually flowing to the residential properties. So that's really good. They're hoping to be in and pave that intersection, starting by the end of May, is what they're hoping, because the utilities are done, so they'll be starting to rock that area, and continue towards paving and getting that set to go. So it's looking like, once that's paved, then we can open it to traffic based on the concrete testing. You know, we can eliminate the detour at that time until they're ready to start on phase 2, so we could go back to normal traffic for a while, hopefully through, the 4th of July celebration at that time. The water main that's starting at the Waspinican River, that's going a little bit slower, but it has picked up the pace here in the last week. Down by the bridge, we ran into some unsuitable material down there when we opened up the street. There was a lot of big, large boulders and rocks, and that material you can't put back in, especially over a water main. You have issues when you go to compact that, where you're gonna, potentially damage the new water main that goes in. So we've had to pull some of that material out and put some rock material back in, some finer rock. But they're currently through the 2nd Avenue intersection and about between 2nd and 3rd. With that new water main, they're gonna go ahead and put the main in first and then come back and connect all the new services. Their goal, the way they're laying it out, is to try to do kind of one main shut off for all the property owners, and then there would be some smaller individual shut-offs when they tie the services over, but those typically aren't, very long, within an hour when they do those services.
Is the water main only on the north side?
The water main, yes, that's where the existing water main runs, and we're running close to that. So the water main runs down the north side, and then the services run,
To both?
yeah, to both ways from there.
Because 22 days, I was looking at that tonight. Well, I've been down there several times, and I was thinking maybe we could have been a little further than,
Like I said, down in that area, some of the material, but talking to our inspector out there, she thinks they're pretty much on track, and they have started working Saturdays. So they will be working on Saturdays to continue, like I think this Saturday, they put in about 50 feet of water main. So by the end of the week, is weather depending, we should have that main all the way up to 3rd Street put in, and they should be pressurized and testing that. And once they get the water main in, like I said, they can go back and get the services in. So as of now, we're still on track to have the paving and for that first phase completed by the end of June. We'll know some more as we get going, but within the next couple weeks as the weather holds out. But so far, we haven't run into any real surprises other than some of the material hasn't been quite suitable, which some of that was kind of expected in an area where you have that much fill from previous years. So they have started working on a portion of Phase A, which is between 5th and 6th out here. They're working towards 6th. They still haven't determined when they're gonna actually start working by the Malone Creek Bridge, but I look for that to happen in the next couple weeks, where they'll be down there. Once they want to get this 5th Avenue intersection open, and once that's opened, they'll be able to move on to the area near the Malone Creek Bridge.
because
They do-
wasn't Phase A from the Lone Creek Bridge up to the library?
Yeah, half of the library,
Yeah.
and then this section here from Fifth through the Sixth Avenue section was part of Phase A as well. So it's continuing, and hopefully, like I said, the weather holds out. The other project on 150 that was a DOT let project with the shoulder widening and overlay, we are actually we were contracted by the DOT to inspect that project. So we'll be involved in that project as well, working with the DOT for that overlay, and the pre-con for that was today. And it sounds like they're gonna start May 28th with the Highway 20 portion. There's a portion of Highway 20 that's tied into that, before they start the overlay on 150 through town here. And that would be from Highway 20 north to approximately the Dairy Queen area, is what that project's gonna involve, with some shoulder widening through that corridor. They are aware of the 4th of July celebration and the DOT working schedule. They won't be working from that Thursday through that Monday for the 4th of July celebration, so there won't be any work that's gonna affect anything on 150 in that area.
Will they have one lane of traffic all the time out there?
Yeah, they'll have to have flaggers when they do that, and have one lane, but typically overlays go pretty quick, so, I mean, it's gonna be a disruption, for a little bit, but it's not gonna be, you know, a 12-week-long, construction or something like that with the overlay.
When they widen the shoulders, that's not including putting any turning lane anyplace in, is it?
Not as part of this project, this is just an overlay. Yeah, this was just an overlay.
We did have conversation when this project came up about adding the center turning lane the whole length. They were not willing to have that conversation with this. This is a safety project only for paving the shoulders and doing an overlay. If we want to have a conversation about the turning lane, curb and gutter, an urban section versus the rural section, that would come in our Highway 150 reconstruction. We'd have the conversation at that time. And they were open to that, but not until we get to the reconstruction.
So they'll overlay it and then they would redo it?
Yeah,
There is,
Basically,
yeah, probably right.
I mean, they could do the widening and they could still utilize the portion of the roadway that has the overlay and still do the widening and then just repaint the whole area for turn lanes.
and part of it is, if we do the turning lane, we would like to see with the ditches filled in and put an urban section in with curb and gutter. That would include a storm sewer system in there that I think would be more practical. But again, that's all part of future construction. This is just a safety project, so the money comes out of a different pot for DOT.
Thank you.
And along with 150, what I handed out is the concept statement that we put together for Highway 150 through town that's not part of First Street, that isn't having any reconstruction currently. The DOT has come through that they are looking at programming money to fund that project through town, based on this concept statement that we put together. So that's good news for the city on improving that infrastructure and that roadway through town as well. And that looks like that could be coming up here in the next construction season or two, to start work on that project.
Al, is this the one where our portion of the funding is paying the engineering costs? And
We cover engineering, construction, management, and utilities. We do have a small portion of storm sewer, depending on how it's calculated, if we put in storm sewers, which we would want to do, at least in parts of it. But all of the construction costs, the hard construction costs, are covered by DOT. That was our exchange for not doing an overlay. We have no expense if we did the overlay on top of what's there. If you remember, we decided that that was a really bad idea.
so will there still be an overlay south of town, from the bridge south?
Yes, that, and DOT is doing that as part of their shoulder paving program this summer. That's what Dan was just.
Yeah, that's the project that's already been designed by the DOT, and they're doing that work And we were contracted by them to do the inspection work, so we'll be managing that project like we are for the First Street.
From 8th Street to the bridge end in the southeast, will that be a total reconstruction, or will that be an overlay?
From
8th Street,
We,
which should be
our,
to the north,
of Dairy Queen?
yeah, to the north, that would be full
No, no, no.
reconstruction.
From,
From 8th Street south to
Southeast.
the bridge.
That is part of the overlay.
okay.
what we run into is our maintenance agreement with DOT, our urban section starts at 8th Street, at the north end of the campground, and comes into town, and goes to the railroad track.
Right.
Everything outside of those parameters is still DOT. That's their property, their responsibility, whatever they do there falls on them. Of course, they'll let us pay for their roadway if we want to, but that is, all of that will fall under their jurisdiction. And if you take a look at it, that one block from the bridge north to the campground, that still has the gravel shoulders and, you know, it's still that rural section again. And that's what they're addressing. So,
So are there any questions at this time?
Are you the one to put the signs up that says like downtown parking and,
Yes.
okay, I brought it up a couple weeks ago and it hasn't happened, but down at the VFW corner, when you
Yeah.
come to that, either direction from the north or the south, it doesn't tell about the parking behind these businesses over here. The arrow just goes the one way. And 3 of the businesses have asked me more than once about getting that arrow to go both ways, because they can park in the parking lot behind these businesses across the street, but people even in town don't realize it.
Okay, all right, so over on site by the VFW, I'll take a look at it. I haven't been, I wasn't aware of any concerns for that
I brought it
area,
up a
so
couple weeks ago at a meeting here, so.
Yep,
I can take a look
workshop.
at that.
You did at the workshop, I believe.
So, yep, we'll take a look at that and see what we can do. about
And then-
some signing.
Is DOT doing anything past Malone Creek East?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
Not here in the city,
That's not there.
Isn't that county road now?
yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing's getting down there that you know of?
Because that's no longer state highway.
I was just asking that question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of anything.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Going back here to this 150 project, is that, will the semis be coming through town when we're doing that?
No, so on that project, because of, there's really no good way to reroute them. You know, with the east-west portion, we could reroute a small portion, but with the entire highway, the DOT, we've already discussed that with them, it would be local traffic only detours, and then truck traffic would be routed around. It's gonna be a pretty major detour when the Highway 150, project is underway.
I just thinking some of the people replanting their yards where the semis are turning now might be a little.
Yeah, and that'll be something that, if there is, you know, I know we put some rock in some areas where the semi isn't turning out. I mean, that'll get restored after the detour and after the project. I mean, those homeowners, the yards will be restored.
So it won't be the homeowners that have to.
No, it will be restored as part of the project.
Okay.
One of the issues, talking about the semis turning, we lost our stoplight in front of St. John's again this weekend. I mean, it was not in great shape to begin with. It is scheduled as part of 150 in the concept statement to have new traffic signals put in there. But with the school being there, we're trying to piece that together through the end of this school year. And that's, Tim Tudor and I had that conversation. It's, if we can keep that together through the school year, we will. Otherwise, that'll have to be a four-way stop. I mean, I can't take all the traffic control out of there. We're gonna have to do something, obviously, but if we can keep the stoplight for pedestrian crossing, what have you, that's our goal.
There's only, what, 2-3 weeks left?
School?
Yeah, the condition of that poor stoplight, 3 weeks could be a lifetime.
Well, and unfortunately, that'll probably be about the time when we're looking at getting rid of the detour in that area, because we'd be looking at opening up Fifth Avenue.
Right.
Similar timeline.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Next on the agenda is the alley request by Gary Gissel.
evening. I think all of you know me, I hope. And I think you've all gotten the pictures of the alley that I brought in. The alley in question is between 6th and 7th Street Northeast and 6th and 7th Avenue Northeast in that 600 block. The issue is that, I mean, it's not got any rock on it now. It's been grass. And most of the neighbors in there have kept it mowed, but it keeps getting torn up every year in the wintertime and the spring. And pictures show you what we're dealing with there. There's one residence there that has a garage that empties onto that alley. And I'm proposing to put a garage behind one of my rental houses in there. So that's the reason that I'm here, to request that you improve this alley and maintain it.
I drove past there, Gary, to the north of that house. You got a pad there to drive up on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a
I
reason
don't.
you wouldn't put a garage right?
Because I don't have enough room between it and the house to the north.
You don't?
So I'm right at the property line with that pad.
That's if you come off the street, there's not enough room to put a garage? Because isn't there a driveway in this one picture? Showing a driveway
There is
next
a
to the
driveway
house?
in there, yeah, but
Okay.
there's not enough room to put a double garage in there.
Be at the end of
Oh, you
that
want a
driveway,
double
there's
garage.
not?
Yeah, that's what they want, is a double garage. So,
And there's enough room out back for that house.
oh yeah, I've got plenty of room out back for it.
The approach to that driveway, though, in your one picture that shows the alley, that the tracks in the grass are off-center from the paved entry there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that bush is in the way, so is that on somebody's property? Is that city property to take that bush out, or that tree, whatever that is?
The shrubs are going to be either right on the property line or on city property. I mean, we'd have to go out and find the city's easement on that, but at the very least, the alley side of the shrubs would have to be cut back. I mean, they can't stay there if we're going to improve the alley.
You can see from the picture that they exceed to the inside of the utility pole, so they're growing onto the city property.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to make a decision or a recommendation based on the photograph, but, from the picture and the angle of the picture, the approach onto the alley and that pole, if you line them up, those shrubs are sitting in the alley.
So they could come out.
Well, they would have to
Have to
if
come
we
out.
were going to do anything there.
Based on the discussion we had in our Public Works meeting, Mr. Donnelly said they quit maintaining that alley because of those shrubs. It was destroying the trucks when we tried to drive through there. And the property owner at the time refused to let them do anything with it.
Right.
And if they are in fact infringing on our right-of-way or easement or whatever it is, I think we have the control of either taking them down or getting them cut. And I personally feel that if it's a city alley, we should probably put the alley back in and help the property owners out.
I would agree.
Does this take,
There's a lot of alleys that need a lot of work in this town, and you're opening up a can of worms.
I think this one's probably one of the worst
Yeah.
from looking at it.
does this now, there doesn't look like there's any base, is this gonna take a little work to put this alley back,
Yeah, they
put
would,
it in first?
they'd have to go in and dig it out and put the rock in, that's correct.
It's gotta have a base in it.
Do we have an estimate of any kind of cost for this?
Brian was kind enough to give me an estimate. If we do all the labor with the city crew, we've got roughly $3,800 worth of material to put in there. Just no magic. I instructed him not to give me a full engineering study, obviously, but if we do all the work ourselves, that gives you an idea. We're in that $4,000 range, $3,800 range for material.
Gary, have you had any conversations with other property owners along there, if they'd be interested in the alley back, or?
A couple of them, but Problem is that 5 of the properties on that alley are rental properties. Landlords are not residents of Independence. One of them's in foreclosure, so there's very few of us there
Well,
to talk to.
not, talk to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah,
Is the one a pallet company?
looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I threw that picture in for Mr. Sherritt's.
Say,
Okay,
Questions?
do I,
I think one of the differences here, though, is an improvement's being made on the alley. It's not like just suddenly we're doing something on an alley because we want to.
So if we was to approve that, you would definitely build that garage?
If the people in the house decide to do it, yeah.
I'd asked Gary earlier how long you'd owned the property, because maybe you remember this, Mike, we had this brought to us in 2007. But the person that brought it, it wasn't Gary, he never came back. And I don't know if he left town, or I'm not sure what happened to the gentleman. But the discussion went no further because that gentleman never came back. That's why, I know it wasn't you,
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah,
But
no, it
that's why I was
wasn't me.
asking how long you'd been there.
Yeah.
And that was that question relevant to that.
I've probably owned those 2 properties somewhere between 15 and 20 years, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So, the other thing is, I told Tim Donnelly, that alley's torn up so bad right now that, you know, I've always kept the grass cut out there in the back of it. I'm not doing that this year. You guys, the city's gonna have to mow it this year, because it's rougher than what I'm gonna do with my mower.
and those are both, that's a rental property that you're wanting this for?
Yes, I have 2 rental properties there.
Okay.
Yep.
Do I hear?
I make a motion that we put the alley back in.
But we want the garage built for it, because I
Well,
understand he's putting that alley there if that garage isn't gonna happen.
We can't.
I can't
We
guarantee
can't,
that.
we can't
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 stipulate
guarantee
that.
that at this point.
You can't, I don't think you can make a motion to stipulate that.
Are you saying you're gonna rent this or sell it?
I'm looking at selling it.
Oh, okay,
And that's one reason that we want the garage put in.
okay,
People that are interested in the house want a garage.
okay. So I thought, you said a rental property, and then if the people living there wanted it, and I thought, wow,
Yeah.
that's a good
It's,
deal.
it's a rental right now with the possibility of a sale within the next year.
So they would be the ones putting in the garage, you would sell it before the
We haven't come to
garage
that
goes
agreement
in?
yet, Bonnie.
Huh?
I don't know whether I'm building the garage and selling it to them or they're building the garage. We haven't come to that agreement yet.
Okay,
But there will be a garage there. or-
I hope so. That's the plan at this point.
I need to spend the money for it and then have the garage be built.
Well, at least run something down through there and grade out the ruts then, please.
I hear you on that. A 4-wheel drive, and I wouldn't drive through it.
Nope.
okay, Mike, your motion was what?
For the city to put the alley back in with the rock. Do the-
Whatever
Right.
it takes,
necessary-
swimming the tray and all that stuff,
Yep.
okay.
I'd second that.
Subgrade it and fill it, and
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve to put that alley back in, and we need a roll call.
Hayward,
At the risk of opening up a can of worms, I will vote yes.
Hill,
Yes,
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
yes.
Hannah,
Yes?
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Mr. Coming, Gary?
Thanks, Gary.
Next on the agenda is Celebration Committee for the 4th of July. Would you like to introduce yourself and give us your address?
Hello, I'm Juan Rodriguez, and I live at 506 15th Avenue Northeast. And I'm on the Independence Celebrations Committee. And I think we passed out handouts, I mean, similar to what we've done in the past, just looking for approvals for street closures and those kinds of things for the upcoming event.
we did have something that got brought up in, I don't remember if it was our budget process or what, but we are looking to buy new fencing. And part of the problem with our current fencing is apparently new gates have been cut randomly. And I guess I just wanted to bring it up that if we purchase new fencing, I really would hope no new gates get cut for convenience.
We have not installed any new gates from that standpoint for several years now. The only gates that we have to enter are there on the east side, and then there's two on the north side where the cattle gates are, and then there's one on the south side of the park. Unfortunately, there are patrons who will take scissors or a knife and cut through the fence or hop over it and break it, and, you know, we can't control that, but we have not put any new entrances or exits. in
But
service.
I guess I was kind of almost thinking if we've done it with some things that, some kind of guarantee that it would be policed, that I'd hate to spend a bunch of money for new fencing and then have somebody with a barbecue outfit or something decide it's easier to pull in and snip the fence.
Yeah, well, you know, when the vendors arrive, we have somebody down there guiding them on where they go. So we have pretty, you know, somebody there watching that, so we have not experienced anything.
I'm just going by what the street department
Yeah.
people told us.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't
we-
necessarily think it was us doing it. It might have been patrons doing it, so.
Will we even have new fencing by the 4th of July? Okay.
I really think that based on the amount of people that we bring to town and the sales tax revenue that creates, I know there's several convenience stores and restaurants that have, you know, best sales of the whole year that day. So I certainly think money for fencing is being recouped by way of sales tax and the amount of people we're bringing to town.
I think that was the crowd doing that anyway, Bob. I don't think Wanda's
Okay.
out there with a hatchet.
Well, I just, if people can kind of be aware of it.
Sure, no,
It's an expense and,
Yeah, we understand that, and, you know, as the event continues to get bigger, you know, we continue to have other contingencies. We talk about many things, you know, emergencies and other things like that. So some of the things we can't control.
hate to electrify the fence.
Oh, yeah,
Well, that
that,
might be worth the show.
need to pull in a few more ambulance.
Fireworks display.
And issues shock risks.
Yes. No, I just wanted to bring it up because
No, we
that was.
we understand it,
talked about.
and, you know, our committee puts in a lot of work, and we do a lot of due diligence. We communicate with the city and the city manager and the chief on many issues
Sure.
that we try to cover and make sure that our event first is safe, family-friendly, and that we have contingencies if we have any problems.
And to be fair, Juan, there's other activities that use the fence too.
Yes, yeah.
Right, exactly.
I was going to make the same comment, anybody comes
And, you
in.
know, the reality is fence does have some wear and tear, and, you know, it's not 100-year fencing by any means.
I would make a motion that we approve the request for the celebration committee.
I'd second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the request from the Celebration Committee, and we need a roll call.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Thanks for.
Good luck.
Thank for all your support, too. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Friday Night Live, Chamber of Commerce.
Hello, everybody. I should introduce myself. I'm Nikki Barth. I'm the new chamber director. I started May 1st, so I know a few of you, but not all of you. So just want to introduce myself first. And I'm here to get permission for our Friday Night Live for June. June 14th, Friday night, June 14th, from 5 to 9.
Are you wanting it for June and August, or just, you're going to come back to get approval for the August
I
one?
mean, I can do that also if you'd like me to. I should have submitted it for both June and August, but I did not.
Okay.
Do you know the date in August?
Off the top of my head, I believe it's August 9th. That is the second Friday in August.
On the map she sent to you, she did have a date on it.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a Friday. Yep.
Yep. On our map, there is one difference. We might not have a bounce house. The company that we were using has gone out of business, and the cost of the other companies is quite a bit higher than what we are normally doing. We are looking at getting the little, what do you call that, the train from the CNC Club in Winthrop. And so we had thought of maybe using the trail on Riverwalk just to take the kids around, if that would be, if we do go that route. We are still looking at companies for bounce houses, but it's always good to have a kids' activity. Otherwise,
So it'd be on the site, cement or the sidewalk itself is what we do, is just
Yes.
follow that around?
yes.
So we maybe need to kind of include that in approval, just in case you do it?
Yes.
So you don't have to come back again just for that personal purpose.
I'd make the motion to approve this, including both dates,
Okay,
June 19th and August 9th.
I second it.
June 14th.
What? Yeah,
June 14th.
June 14th.
June, 14th, okay.
Amend that. There you go.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Friday Night Lives for June and August.
And that's with the train as well, Bob?
Yeah, with the train.
Okay. Roll
On
call.
my notes here, it says the city is awaiting insurance.
Yes, so we have submitted for our alcohol license, and then we are waiting the Dram Shop insurance. It will be through Gail Hunter with American Family. I'm still waiting, we had to elect new officers, so we have to get them on our signature card at the bank, and then the check will go to Gail. So we've already got the quote now, the board is just waiting for us to take that check up there.
Okay,
So-
so this is approved
Just-
pending that you have that and
Yeah.
before the event.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Roll call.
Sharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes?
Hill.
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Nikki?
Thank you.
Okay, motion to approve a resolution to provide for a notice of hearing on proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimates of cost for the Enterprise Drive East PCC paving, sanitary sewer, and water main construction project, and the taking of bids thereof. Therefore,
Good evening, Brian Crawford, Crawford Engineering. This is kind of the next step on the Enterprise Drive East project, and tonight we're just looking for approval of the actual notice that will be published in the paper so that you guys can advertise and have bidders, contractors submit bids on the project. If you do make a motion to approve this tonight, that motion should be subject to the closing that is scheduled for the middle of this month. So this is kind of in anticipation, getting this project really ready to go should the closing occur. As we're getting a little bit later in the process, we're wanting to be ready as soon as that closing happens.
The real estate closing is not taking place yet?
No. We're still waiting for Casey's to, well, we've got a couple of things here to take care of tonight to finalize all of our paperwork that we can do. But Casey's has not given us a firm date for closing. We've suggested that we would close on Wednesday of this week. They have not confirmed that yet. Everybody else is ready to go.
and this will final us up, ready to go.
Part of this is to proceed with the bid letting. There's timeframes that we have to meet there. We're in essence giving away 3 weeks if we don't do this tonight. I'd recommend that we proceed, but I want to be very clear to the council that we are not going to bring back bids for your consideration on June 10th if we do not have closing. I mean, we can't do that because we don't own the property. We're anticipating we'll have it in place by then, but again, what we're trying to do is maximize the amount of time that we have here to proceed.
And the advertising wouldn't even be posted or wouldn't even be published until that closing happens.
I'd make the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to everything that I read earlier. A roll call, please.
But is it contingent on the closing?
Yeah,
Right.
contingent on closing.
Yes.
Bob meant that, yeah.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes?
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on, resolution approving the development agreement with Casey's Marketing Company. No, I scooped down too far. Okay. Resolution to provide for a notice of hearing on proposed plan specifications, form a contract, and estimate of cost for the 2019 street improvement project and the taking of bids therefore.
So this is similar to the previous item. This is again, your approval to post an advertisement in the paper to contractors to get bids. This project is for the 2019 street reconstruction, 10th Street Southwest from 6th Avenue going east, and then 5th Avenue Southwest from 1st to 2nd, between 1st and 2nd Street.
Will these bids be kind of running at the same time to where you could get the same person to bid on both jobs?
We're hopeful that if the closing happens, then yes.
Yeah.
They're actually timed so that we would get both of those bids the same day, one simply a half hour after the other one. So those contractors are already here to be interested in both of those projects. Yep.
I make motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes?
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian?
Next is a motion to approve a resolution setting the date of public hearing for May 28th, 2019 at 6:30 PM on an access easement agreement, Terrace Drive, J.C. Park easement.
This would set a public hearing to consider granting an easement at the south end of the current J.C. Park parking lot, if you will, that we maintain. There are 3 residents in that neighborhood that have houses behind their properties on Terrace Drive. This would be the 4th house moving south down Terrace Drive, would like to put a garage in their backyard. We've asked them to have an easement to do that, requiring them to maintain the gravel. If they have to put it in, maintain it, what have you. We're not accepting further responsibility for extending that.
Do we plow the snow down in there?
Not on a regular basis. I mean, I won't say that we haven't been in there, but we have no reason to be in there. I've checked with both Tim and Bob. We don't have any purpose in the wintertime to be down in there and opening that up.
Yeah,
So
I
that
guess
would-
I'd like to make it clear, we're not going to
Yeah,
plow
snow
snow
plows,
for these
yeah.
guys.
Yes, that, and that, we agree with.
Okay.
I'd make the motion that we grant the easement.
No, this is just setting the hearing for the next meeting. We're not doing anything as far as approving it at this point. That'll,
As a point of reference, we do have to have an easement. We call it a disposal of the land. We're not getting rid of the land, we still own it. We're simply granting them a use easement of it that would make them liable for the maintenance of that extension. So we do have to have a public hearing.
I would second John's motion.
your motion is to set the hearing?
Yes.
Okay, motion is second to set the hearing for May 28th. A roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes?
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Thank you. Now we're down to where I was trying to go before, too early. Public hearing on development agreement with Casey's Marketing Company, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf.
Second.
Second by Hayward. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf.
Second?
Second by Hayward. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to the development agreement with Casey's.
What is this simply the land purchase?
No, this is a development agreement for their improvements, part of the, one of the
They
contingencies
want
on.
money?
Of course.
No.
They are asking for a development agreement that mirrors what we granted to Rydell, which is a 10-year decreasing or step-down percentage of the improvements that they make, a TIF rebate, not to exceed 10% of their improvements.
What kind of a dollar amount of improvements are they looking at?
Their building permit was for $3 million. Realistically, the improvements, the assessed value of the improvements is probably closer to 1.5. The development agreement does reflect the $3 million that that they're investing in the project. So it's the 90, 80, 70, 60, again, not to exceed the 10% of their improvements.
And this wouldn't be paid until after they're done doing their development?
Right, and the way this is structured is they have to pay the taxes first, so it's a rebate, it's not an abatement, no taxes, no rebate. These are dollars that we currently don't have, we have not received. If they don't do the project, obviously, we don't have them anyway. So we are not giving away or granting anything that's currently in our tax rolls. It is all new tax dollars.
And based on their discussion with us, it was going to be more or less a total reconstruction of that whole Casey's.
It is a
and actually closed for a period of time.
Correct. They are actually looking to do a complete remodel, reconstruction of their facility. They're moving their diesel pumps. It's very extensive, obviously, with that kind of a price tag.
How will that affect Veridian or whatever else is out there?
Veridian, there is a requirement that Veridian stay open, access remain open for Veridian throughout the project, no matter what we do, no matter what Casey's does, that access will remain. This is part of your purchase agreement. Just to remind you, when we approve the purchase agreement with the property, one of the contingencies is that we would match the development agreement that we granted to Rydell's.
Can we pass this contingent on the closing within 7 days?
How about
I'm not
two?
joking.
I know, how about two, this Wednesday?
The terms of, I have to think about that for a minute, Mike.
Okay.
I don't
The attorney
believe,
comes in.
well, this came from bond counsel, I'm
Oh.
not sure
Unfortunately, I'm
that.
not confident.
What's that?
You are working with bond counsel on this matter, so
So,
not able to apply, and I'm not
you're
familiar with
off the hook,
I
okay.
apologize.
Not being an attorney, I'm not sure that you can put that contingency into the development agreement. I don't want to say we,
Why would we invest that kind of tax money if we don't have resolution of the,
well, if there's, based on
Real
the,
estate.
based on the development agreement, if there is no real estate transaction, if there's no improvement, you have no dollars that you're putting out there because they're not putting the money into the business. So everything is contingent on it. I mean, it's all building on itself. The $3 million improvement that they're doing is based on the real estate transaction. As a matter of fact, we're sitting on the building permit application right now, which I cannot approve, or Todd cannot approve, because that would be authorizing them to build on land that they don't own. And obviously, we can't do that. So there's a dozen moving pieces here that are all kind of
I'm trying to
intertwined.
set them in motion, stop the motion and put them in a linear fashion so they're
Mike.
workable.
I understand, and, we've been 2 years trying to get them to that point, so I think we're as close as we've been. At this point because we're in public hearing, right now, I don't have a closing date firm. We've given them what we think it should be, but I don't want to pretend that I have that. Everybody's agreed except for Casey's on that date.
So when we close on the property we're buying from them, they're closing on the property they're buying from Larson's the same day.
Correct.
So unless that
You get
happens,
those two
this
contingencies
doesn't happen anyhow. This has no effect. And I'm concerned that if we don't pass something like this, not that I want to hold anybody hostage or anything, that they'll just use that to stop the whole deal, period.
This development agreement, if I can add, does have annual appropriations. So that would be an appropriation that the council would have to make annually once they started receiving those.
Rebates.
So we have that protection too. Okay.
I would think, just from the conversations we've had with Casey's, they're not a very trusting organization. And so it's kind of like, well, you haven't approved. They seem to love to throw that back at us in all the conversations, so I think if we didn't approve this or just go ahead with it, they'd probably drag their feet
More.
more.
Is there any other discussion? Or I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing part.
I would second that.
Okay, a motion and second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We're out of public hearing and moving on to the next resolution approving development agreement with Casey's Marketing Company, authorization annual appropriation tax increment, and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement.
I like Mike's idea, but I don't know that would affect Casey's. So I make this motion.
Okay? Do
I'll
I-
second.
A motion and a second for approval, and we will ask for a roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
No more excuses? Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. We've done everything we can do at this point now.
The only thing that we haven't done, just to back that statement up, is granted the building permit. And again, I don't think that we can in good conscience grant the building permit to allow them to construct on property they don't own. And,
Until after the
So now
closing.
it's back in their court.
But if they do show up on the 15th, we can approve it on the 28th?
Well, the building permit is approved by the building inspector, so that
Yeah.
isn't something that comes
Oh,
from
okay,
council.
so-
So that's all staff.
Okay.
They close on the
administrative.
15th, they can sign the building permit on the 15th.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
It's-
They move
it's-
in on the 16th.
It's all ready. We're just waiting for that closing.
Okay.
So. Okay. Next is a motion to approve a resolution for authorization of registrar and paying agent change.
Bond counsel has forwarded this to us for your consideration. Bankers Trust would be our new paying agent for our bonds. There's a change that's happened behind the scenes, separate from anything that we've done, and you simply have to identify our new, or authorize our new registrar and paying agent for bond payments.
I'd make that motion.
Motion by Hayward,
Second.
seconded by Kurtz. Roll call, please.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you. That motion is carried. Next is the fiscal year 2019 budget amendment.
We held the public hearing at the last meeting. This is the formal action to authorize the budget amendment.
I'd make that motion.
Motion by Hayward,
I'd second that.
second by Kurtz.
I have
Roll,
a question. Is this the last one we can do this budget?
Yes, the last date for submittal is the 31st, and we wouldn't have time to hold another hearing.
okay, roll call.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next one is my exciting one that I hope we pass unanimously, a motion to approve a resolution accepting the City Hall ramp and stair project as complete and authorize final payment on the contract.
Is that for the mayor using it?
I'm loving that ramp. I don't know if anybody else is using it. I welcome them all to come up. Anybody that has a disability, come visit us at City Hall, because you've got a great
Are you
entrance.
recommending we make a motion to name it the Bonnie Davis?
No, nope. I don't want you walking all over me.
Fred, is there issues out there yet?
I haven't checked it tonight, but there was a lot of sharp welding places on that ramp that could cut your hand.
I think they've been fixed.
There's what?
The welding seams have been ground and painted. the one thing that we did find out there is when they came in, did the grouting of the brick, some of that mortar did end up on the ramp. Most of that's been taken care of. I'm not aware of any that's out there, but that was what I did notice. It wasn't the metal, that's been taken care of. So it was just the grout.
I would make a motion, we approve it, and I want to be on record that I said it could be done, and they said it couldn't.
I like that. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. You need a roll call on this, too?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Motion carried. Now we're down to other business. FBO lease amendment. We have a chairman of the airport board here.
Hi, folks.
Hi, Dan.
How you doing tonight?
Good.
PNN has an opportunity to bring some business to the airport. And I don't know the name of the company yet, they haven't mentioned it, but it has the opportunity to bring 3 or 4 large aircraft to our facility. In order to do that, they would like to amend the lease. They'd like to use some of the upstairs area. Well, not only just for the new aircraft, but also for the computer-assisted testing site that they're building. So they'll be able to do FAA testing there, the computer portion of it. And they need a secure room to lock the computers in. So we're looking at, the airport board recommended that we amend the lease to let them use those 3 back rooms. And they're going to be responsible for whatever kind of remodeling they need to do. At the end of the day, we own it.
So this is not just a temporary, somebody going in for an hour taking a test.
No, the computer, when you have that CAT station, it's a locked area with the computers separated, you only have one person, one computer per room. It stays there permanently. They also want office space for the company that's bringing the 3 or 4.
And when I read through that lease, I have problems with that because we intended that area to be used for pilots to have some place to go to. And we said the last time before manager couldn't live there.
Right.
And now we're basically saying that's going to now no longer be in existence, plus he's going to use the conference room for classes and things?
Yeah, I think the conference room's already available for class uses. The common area up front, like by the kitchen area, is not part of the deal. It'll be available for public use. And then basically what they want is the back half of it.
How many, PNN just seems to want more and more. I mean, we went with the 40% fuel. When, it has to be a locked area for the FAA to approve the testing?
Yeah, they have to secure the computers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about in the conference room? Could a wall be studded up and put,
Well,
like
I'm sure there's something we could work out like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But, the issue is, I've been through their computer testing. It's pretty intensive, and you need to have it so that it's like soundproof. I'm not sure you could do that downstairs.
I've utilized that testing type of atmosphere at Hawkeye for accreditation on certain things, and it is very secure. They won't let you talk to anybody, you can't bring any notes in, that type of thing. I understand that. I guess my concern is we're giving away more square footage of the airport at no reimbursement to us.
Well,
And secondly, we're bringing on another FBO, basically, that's going to be running air charter or whatever it is out of here. And why would we let them sublease our facility versus going a lease through the City of Independence and let us reap whatever they're paying?
the first point, we're not getting anything directly if we amend the lease, but we are bringing 3 or 4 aircraft in, and we'll get 60% of the fuel sales.
Is that a guarantee? You don't even know who this company is.
Right, right.
So we can be Sky.
But we're out nothing. If no company comes in, we're out nothing. I mean, we don't have anything coming in now for those rooms. So, I mean, we're not out anything. we're not giving them anything that's
I
costing us
agree,
money.
these guys just want to quit. You know, you only give so much, and you have no guarantee, so as far as I know, there's no company. I mean, anybody can talk. Come with some writing, come with somebody that's for real.
The second point that you mentioned, why don't they, we asked them that, why don't they just contract with us?
Yeah.
PNN's answer was, they initiated the contact with PNN, and they want to work with them as the management portion of it. And my thought was, well, right now, 3 or 4 aircraft coming to the facility with with fuel sales, 60% of 3 or 4 aircraft is better than we have right now. And if it's giving PNN an opportunity to build their business, if it's successful, you know, we got, what, about 2.5 years on their lease, 2 years, something like that?
2 years left.
Then we can make an adjustment then, and they seemed amenable to that. The other thing is, you know, we wanna build the business at the airport. We want people out there. If we got 3 or 4 more aircraft that are bringing, you know, more people in, it's gonna be better for the businesses in town. It's gonna increase restaurants, hotels.
But I've been
all that
talking to
sort of-
people, one person in particular, so that I had to follow up with 3 or 4 other people that do business out there, and, you know, some seasonally, some regular. There's nothing going on. I mean, there's this flight school that's supposed to be taking place, it doesn't appear to be taking place. I mean, there's so many things were promised that have not been delivered, that and it just seems like they're continually, it's a slow crawl. They want more and more.
It is a slow crawl, you know, and I'm speaking from the board perspective,
Right.
and you guys are asking me PNN questions, and they're not here. So I'll give you the best answer I can, but
Sure.
understand, I don't know their business
Oh,
model.
I understand
So,
it.
you know, I'll answer your
I don't mean
questions.
to be on you, but-
Oh, no, I get that, but, you know, I'll do the best I can to
Sure.
answer, because I think it's a good deal. You know, we recommended that we bring it to you guys to see if you could amend the lease, because we think it's gonna increase business. Baby steps, you know, we
This was-
start, go ahead, Deb.
This was approved 4-1, so the person that voted against it, what was their things that they were against it for?
The main thing was, that person didn't see that we were getting anything in return for, giving them the rooms, basically what I'm hearing here.
And those-
Are they willing to give any more rent?
I don't know without, I mean, explicitly asking them in the discussion, they didn't seem that was a good option. Right now, I mean, no, well, I mean, and any business wouldn't wanna volunteer to raise their rent. They, I think we did increase it, what, a couple $100 or $250 over what the previous guy had, when they took over the lease.
Yeah, but now they're getting more.
And the other guy had 100% of the, or 90% of the fuel sales, or whatever it was.
Plus they're getting a secured area, you know.
I guess I have problems. This is the same guy that came and negotiated a contract with you guys, stepped before the council and tried to renegotiate his contract while you guys were sitting there behind him.
I got nothing to say, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I guess I'm just a little concerned about, same thing Carl saying, everybody's saying is it seems like he likes to renegotiate everything without really showing us anything for what we've already negotiated. And that's, I think, where people are coming from, is that he's been out there since basically Jonathan left. I asked how many people have passed a flight test. I mean, I have Jonathan on my Facebook, and I think I've seen at least 3 or 4 or 5 people get their license, and he went to Perry as a new manager. We haven't had one new pilot license issued out here since he took over. And I know it's a new business, but at some point, you got to have one customer.
Well, do you guys get their newsletters? The monthly newsletter?
It is posted in the minutes.
Okay, I know we attach it to our minutes. I didn't know if Jackie was emailing that to you directly or not.
No.
That's where she lists basically everything that's going on for the month. How many students they've had, what kind of charters they've had, how many aircraft are there, that sort of thing. I don't have it in front of me, and I don't remember the
Well, I
details.
know that's 0 new.
I know they've granted, I haven't seen any licenses granted, but I do know they're doing training out there.
So now they want 3 rooms for testing when they've been there almost a year?
Yeah, they're starting, and I don't know the numbers, but they're starting a ground school in the next week or 2 with Hawkeye. And they want to do it in Independence if they get enough numbers, and that will facilitate that.
It'll also be able to allow people that are doing like their instrument training, their commercial training, A&P mechanics, all that sort of thing to do their testing.
So Hawkeye's gonna funnel him students, and he's gonna make money, and we're not gonna get anything.
I don't know what their financial arrangement is out of that.
Well, and I know you don't know the answer to this, I don't expect you to know the answer to this, but they're asking for more square footage. More square footage is more money for us, as far as I'm concerned.
Same here.
Agreed.
You know, if they're going from, 5,000 square feet to 8,000 square feet, there probably needs to be a fairly substantial increase in what they pay per month. How they get that back from whoever, I don't care about that. If they can triple their money on what we raise their rent, good for them. That's good business sense on their part, but I don't think we need to be in the business of giving, space away for nothing.
So,
May I ask one more question?
oh, sure.
You say they would be bringing 3 more aircraft. Where are they going to house those aircraft?
Some of them in their hangar, the big hangar.
I thought that was full.
The big hangar, I don't think is full. They also have, what is it, 2 or 3
They have
hangars
3.
that are part of the
They have
lease?
3 T hangars.
Yeah.
That was another thing I was gonna bring up.
Yeah, and I think that plan on using that for the 2nd or 3rd aircraft.
Where's all the aircraft that they brought up here where are they storing those?
Oh.
I thought they already had 3
That's what my
T
understanding
hangars
was.
for that.
Yeah.
But they
See,
have,
I just don't see where they're gonna put 3 more, especially if these are larger airplanes, from what I was kinda led to believe, but I don't know if that's true. But between the helicopter, the Malibu, and isn't there one other plane that's in there already? That's gonna be pretty tight quarters moving planes around, especially if they're larger planes. I wouldn't want my aircraft damaged. Yeah.
And has there been any movement at all of getting a full-time mechanic to work on planes?
yeah, I don't remember the exact date. They hope to have someone, I think it was in June.
So how's he gonna work if they got 6 airplanes already inside the bay where that's where they would work on airplanes?
Well, from personal experience, you need about this much space in between the aircraft for maintenance operations. Basically, is about all you need. You run a little work stand in there, and most of them are about 2-3 feet wide. That's all you need.
Bob, to answer the other question, they have 6 students signed up for their private pilot ground school and flight lessons,
Going on
which
right now.
starts May 21st.
That's going on here or in Marion?
Here.
Here.
That's what they've signed up for here. They also have 14 people that attended their Rusty Pilot Seminar, 4 who are coming to do their flight portion of becoming current with PNN to get current,
Do we have names or just numbers?
just numbers. I don't have any names of the people. And that'd be pretty unusual. We didn't have names from any of our previous managers either, so not
So
something we've asked.
they have 6 people lined up for the space that they're asking for?
The ground
to do-
The ground school, there's 6 people that have signed up through Hawkeye for the ground school portion, and then the flight training through PNN to get their license.
Okay.
So if we just don't
We
make
have a
them,
lot of questions for P and N, and
Yeah.
they really probably need to be here to answer those questions.
To be frank, I'm surprised they don't have a representative here.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either. Maybe Hawkeye Tech ought to pay us. If they're gonna funnel students through. Somebody needs to pay
I
us.
don't care who pays us.
Yeah, well, I don't
As long as
either.
their money's
Look, I'm
good.
just saying, I'm giving them an option to go
Yeah.
to PNN and say, hey,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just, no, we need money, I understand, Mike.
they can pass the cost on.
Maybe we should be
Way it
tabled
works.
till we have more information.
Will more information change your opinion on the lease amendment?
No.
Not money-wise.
Okay, I mean, the point is, either you're willing to accept the lease amendment or you're not, to be fair to both you and PNN. If you don't like the terms of the lease, I suggest that you take action, positive or negative, but I suggest you take action on that. And if we have to go back and meet with PNN, than we do, but,
Further steps.
right.
Yeah.
But
See what your consensus is.
the lease as you have it is basically the terms that they had asked for, and that's what we're bringing to you, so.
I would make a motion to decline their request.
I second it.
Does it go that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
So we don't have to
question
take a vote?
Dan.
I know, it's nothing personal, we can disagree, still be friends.
Who's mad at you, Daddy?
Still need a roll call.
Messenger leaves with bullet holes again.
So we have a motion and a second to decline this amendment to their lease, and we still need a roll call.
O'Loughlin?
Question? A yes vote means no.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because you're voting on not approving.
okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that question. Wouldn't we be better to motion to approve it
It's already
and
been
everybody vote no?
It's already been made.
It does either way. You get the same results.
Okay, I just don't wanna pay for a new street.
Oh, it's been pulled in here before.
So the motion that we're voting for is a motion to decline the airport board's recommendation for amended lease.
Correct.
Hannah?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
Hayward?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Shire?
Yes.
Well, I would like to say that I'm very happy that we were able to continue the unanimous decisions tonight. Let me ask this, I don't know how the procedure works, so I'm sure they're gonna wanna negotiate. Are they gonna wanna come to you and negotiate in one of your workshops? Are they gonna come to us, and are you gonna give us a proposal, some kind of counter proposal? What's the next step?
Yeah, I think that, Dan, you and I will sit down with them and have a conversation and bring something back to the council. I think the council's been fairly clear on their direction, and
Okay.
that would be my recommendation to the council.
It appears that there's 2 or 3 sticking points that are fairly obvious. You know, and I think, cleaning those up at some level, you know, then we would kind of negotiate back and forth from that.
Hopefully we'll have the negotiations done before the meetings. Thank you, folks, appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the proposed McDonald's site plan.
McDonald's is proposing to build a new facility on Highway 150 South, adjacent to Lucky Buffet. The site plan is attached for your consideration.
The DOT's letting them access 150?
No, they're
Using-
sharing the current access with Lucky Buffet.
that's what I-
There is no new access.
A new one, okay.
And there will be another access coming off the Walmart parking lot.
That's correct. The only piece that we have left to approve their building permit is the documentation that there is an easement granted by Walmart, so they can come in the west side of that property.
Now, will the access off 150 will it be wider than what it currently is, or is it pretty much?
It's pretty much what it is.
That's-
I haven't seen anything that would suggest they're going to widen that existing,
That would seem to really almost be dangerous for that.
That's gonna be a little crampy.
Yeah.
You know, you have in and out for Lucky Buffet and in and out for McDonald's. I mean, I think it's basically 3 lanes now, but you're talking now 4.
I think it's more of a entrance, and then you split to the left to go to McDonald's, and split to the right to go to Lucky Buffet.
that's correct.
From looking at the drawings and everything.
Yeah, no, it does come in and split to each business. It's not,
Okay.
I mean,
So
if
there's-
you,
okay.
the entrance doesn't line up directly in front of Lucky Buffet. It's kind of off to the south of their building, so it would tee off on a frontage road there.
Was it originally designed for that?
It almost looks like
I
it was
thought so,
designed
too.
for that. I don't know who
Okay, I
or when
just,
that was done, but that would fit. You won't see additional DOT accesses. I mean, that'd be very rare along 150. There's too many already.
I was gonna say that would not,
I'd make a motion to approve the proposed site plan.
Second.
And if they got the.
Motion and second to approve McDonald's site plan. Roll call, please.
Hannah?
Yes.
Vaughn?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes?
Hayward?
Yes?
Hill?
yes.
Shire?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
And we tore down a historic barn for this? Yes.
You think like my son.
Only before it fell down.
He wanted us to not allow it
Sure, go
until
through the
until they replaced the barn. It's like,
It wasn't,
There was a barn out there?
okay.
I don't remember it.
Next on the agenda, moving on, so that we stay within our 3-hour limit, Buchanan County Courthouse Stormwater Plan approval.
We have a couple of representatives from the county here. This is a proposal to extend stormwater from the courthouse and tie into our First Street East project.
Alex Davis with Buchanan County Road Department. Basically, I am here to request approval from council to extend or to fix the drainage issue at the courthouse and by tying storm sewer pipe into the proposed pipe along First Street East.
This will keep you from having water coming in the front door of the sheriff's
Right,
office?
Basically, right now, every time it rains, water flows into the sheriff's department, so hopefully this will fix the issue. Basically, what we're looking at doing is routing it down Sixth Avenue there by Dunlap's and tying in there.
We did bring this up at the Public Works Committee meeting, and we had two things on this. One, we would recommend the council approve this, that it be done on the west side of the curb, come down between the sidewalk and the curb, and, which would mean not tearing up Sixth Street.
Sixth Avenue.
Sixth Avenue, I'm sorry. We just didn't, we just felt it would be, it's actually, would be less expensive to come down between the sidewalk and the curb than to replace the street as is after you tear it up. Plus, the other recommendation is that you not start this project until First Street East is access for Dunlap's. Otherwise, Dunlap's could be an island of torn up work area. Those were the two things the Public Works Committee had talked about in regard to your project.
And it's talking with the contractor, they were already stubbing in for
Yep.
that. And he said it would not be any problem running it down that parking area versus out in the street. And it would save us having to tear up another good street to do sewer work again.
Okay, I guess my thought is we looked at going in the island first between the sidewalk and the curb, and there's a couple premature trees in there that you're gonna lose if you do this.
Cheaper to plant a new tree than put in a new street. I think you guys would find that beneficial.
You also have issues with utility poles over on that side.
Well, I'm thinking you could probably, don't need a very big trench to put what you're proposing in.
That's not my area of expertise.
No,
Guess that's gonna be up to the contractor that gets a bid.
Well, if the utilities are all on the west side, what's on the east side?
east side you have water and gas over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other utilities.
Yeah, I mean, there was some talk about coming down the east side with the water line there.
Yep.
That wasn't the right place for this. So the west side is the right location. The utility poles being probably the biggest challenge that you have. And there are trees that would come out. I know Brian had looked at it and reviewed this, and, you know, again, the concern is the street. We have a decent street there, which is more than we can say in some other parts of town, so.
Now, one of the other things we've talked before about this is that, especially now with the 150 project being moved up, is it would work a lot better for flow of water if you went west and tied into the storm sewer line on First Street. Brian, you can address that easier than I.
Which storm sewer are you talking about?
Well, we're talking about remember, we've talked about this, that you want, the water should run west from the courthouse parking lot? And we talked about if they ran it hooked in when we tore up 150, which is now we're talking sooner rather than later.
If there's no storm sewer on 150 there, Bob.
Yeah, the nearest storm sewer, I think, is about a half a block south of there. It would have been, actually, records show that the old hotel that was there, there was a feed that came from the old hotel that tied into that storm sewer. But if 150 is being reconstructed there, it would afford another opportunity for storm catch basin or something to be installed there so that this water could go west in conjunction with that project. Again, you deal with the same concern that the Public Works Committee discussion involved too, is that when we've got other roads in the area that are closed, that really taxes Sixth and Second, because people are utilizing that as a bypass to get around the construction of First Street. So you still have the issue with they're kind of looking for which way to go with it. And to Al's point, unfortunately, that street is a street that's in pretty good condition, and so tearing that up, of course, is a concern. So just the feasibility of trying to squeeze that in, even if you had to replace the sidewalk, because the city does have 1 foot behind the sidewalk. So between that utility pole and the sidewalk, certainly sidewalk would be less expensive to replace than tearing up the street, doing both concrete and asphalt work to get a similar section back there on the roadway. So that was kind of where the discussion involved.
I guess the only reason that we set it up this way was discussion with a contractor that's in town and the city manager. That's the route we decided to go. So that's why we set it up the way we did.
Right, and in the review, that's where, Brian is part of the review for the plans. It was recommended that it come down the boulevard there, down the terrace versus the street, both from an expense, cost standpoint, as well as, the functionality of the street, maintaining the street as is.
I understand that, yeah. I mean, I just want to get this thing done. It'd be more of a headache mopping up floors in the sheriff's office than
Right.
anything else.
We did share that concept with the contractor on First Street, just kind of a separate conversation, and he felt that it's certainly possible, viable to go between the utility pole and stay out of the street with that alignment. That was something that we visited with him about before we issued our comments back to the city as part of that review. So maybe it just is gonna require another discussion, and maybe ask that contractor to come in, or maybe meet us out there and talk through the logistics of that, to try and come to the best solution.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I just need to know when and where.
Sure.
We'll be there.
So would this begin then on Third Street and Third Street and Sixth Avenue, and then proceed to the south?
Second Street.
Second Street.
Yeah.
Also, we wouldn't go across the courthouse property, it would just be on the corner.
We're only draining 2 of the drains in the courthouse parking lot. The other 2 will go to where they go now to the north and out.
It's about the southern third
Yeah.
of the courthouse parking lot that Alex has kind of regraded. They're gonna repave as part of that and try and send that water
Sure.
down. And the First Street job has made accommodations, like we spoke about, to try and connect into that new storm sewer that's being put in as part of the First Street project.
And they thought they could set that up so that you could hook into it even once the pavement was done, if I understand right.
Yeah, they can leave a stub out to the west, where they can get into that. And we talked through the maintenance of that, a collar connection on the backside of there, and Tim Donnelly said, yeah, that's gonna work fine.
Otherwise, we didn't have a problem with it. Guess we did, but not a big one.
We want to see the problem go away too, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna auction those sandbags off?
we have any financial liability in this, or the state?
No, we don't have any financial exposure on this beyond the ongoing maintenance of the street after it's all done. But, you know, replacing the street, they are charged with putting it back in like condition. In other words, it's a concrete base with an asphalt overlay. That's what's on there currently. But no, we don't have anything invested in this one way or the other. As far as the trees or the utility poles, likewise, we don't have an investment in that currently.
So it's kind of wherever you want to put it, I guess. You got to put it back the way it is. You know,
Well, no,
It's your money.
no, the city can tell them not to do the street.
Right.
We don't want them to tear up the street.
but if they're going to put it back in the same condition it is,
Well, that, once you tear it up, that doesn't necessarily go back.
Patch jobs on 150.
Might look good from Fifth Street, but it won't.
I wouldn't suggest the drawing board. I think that it's a pretty minor shift if it's into the boulevard, if that's where the council wants it to go. I think everything else is there. The stub is there. That's already being put in as part of the First Street project, regardless of which way it goes. So the discussion at the Public Works Committee was to approve it subject to the location and then the timing. The timing crossing Second was a concern because of the detour route. That would be the biggest concern. Now, for Dunlaps, they just soon not become more of an island than they are with the construction in front of them and beside them right now. But
If we go down the boulevard, we're gonna be tearing up half their parking area when we get to that end.
we understand that. But you're tearing up their parking or the street right in front of the parking area either way. It's the same.
What was wrong with
Effect.
storm sewer in front of the old hotel?
There's not one there, Denny.
I thought he just said there was.
It's down the street.
Yep.
It's clear down.
It's west a half a block, so it's, or I'm sorry, south a half a block.
Oh, so you'd have to cross the highway.
No.
No.
No, we don't have to
West.
cross the highway, but
You have to cross Second.
we've got to get into the highway. if we do that.
The,
And that's what we're avoiding.
the elevation where they're coming out of, if you take a look at it, there's actually a high spot there, right by the driveway. And they're trying to capture what they can for elevation there.
Right. Along with going further back into the boulevard where on Second Street, there's a sewer line there, which on one side, the intersection of Sixth and Second, that pipe is about 6 foot deep. You go back to the west, that's about 3 foot deep. So
Okay.
from a design standpoint, I'd like to keep it as close to that manhole out in Second and Sixth as possible, just because I don't know if this is a steady grade up, or there's a jump in there, or what have you.
Right.
What's the plan for reconstruction of 150, if I can ask, on that end? What's the timing on that?
They asked, or suggested they'd like to have plans in January or February of 2020. And,
That's a couple of years out.
It's next year.
well, that's this coming January.
Next year.
Work, I mean, it's
Well,
a couple of years out.
the work is, there's a question about that. One person we talked to suggested bid letting in February of 2020, and construction to start next spring. Another one said, well, the money might not be available till July 1st of 2020, which, then do we wait another year before we do that, or, and that's where it's been left right now. So it'll either be spring of 2020 or spring of 2021. They were very emphatic about the north section happening first, because of other projects they have in the south end, from First Street to the railroad.
So we don't need any motion on this, we're just gonna
Uh,
let this,
We're gonna make the motion to approve it based upon them doing the construction on the sidewalk side, on the west side of the street.
And the timing with the completion.
Well, the completion or at least moving past Dunlap's with the construction, I think that it's sufficient if we get them past Dunlap's, being sensitive to the fact that Second is still our primary detour, but we have to get the construction past Sixth.
Sure.
I don't know that, if we say completion of construction, that won't be until October, November. I don't think that's realistic to do that to them, so I think that we're okay with it once it moves past Sixth Avenue Northeast there.
Because once Fifth Avenue intersection's open,
Well-
then we won't be using Second Street as much for a detour, right?
Well, we will because of the bridge.
Oh, I
But,
guess that's right.
Again, it's getting the construction past Sixth, so there's a way to get around that. Their construction, their plan shows that coming to that manhole should leave that Sixth Avenue and Second Street still open. We just can't get them all the way over to 150 during the time that they're doing that. So, again, I'd suggest that we adjust the timing, but not all the way to the end of the First Street project.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
And the thought was, is Dunlap's can probably enter and exit their garage with gravel as you're working, as opposed to having the street torn up, which then right now, that's their only access to get to their service bays and work areas. So,
You can get to it from Second Street. Go through the parking lot.
Dunlap's service bays have access both east and west, and to have them shut down on either one of those for an extended period of time, they expressed a concern for. Now, during the project here, obviously, there's going to be some disruption, but again, if we can get First Street cleared up in front of them before we shut down their complete east side, that would be probably better for them.
yeah. Is that clear as mud, Gina?
Yeah, I have it, an approval with work being done on the sidewalk on the west side, and then accommodating the current construction on Sixth Avenue.
Sounds,
Does that
Is that okay?
fit your motion?
That's perfect.
Is that your motion,
Good
Don?
translation.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay. And you need a roll call on that also?
Yes. Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Motion carried. Does that make it as clear as mud for you, or?
Don't bring up mud.
Don't make it any worse. I'm moving on. E, digester cleaning service project.
How about D?
Yes.
Well, how about D, Highway 150 Enterprise Drive Trail Change Order 1?
Okay, this item is for, it's your approval of work that was required out on the Highway 150 trail last fall. It's related to underground utility fixtures that were in there. It was a $2,000 additional work order. It's been approved by the DOT and it is eligible for 80% funding reimbursement. Is something that was, there was a, well, you guys have the detail in front of you, actually.
The raised junction box and to remove and replace the intake top.
Yeah, the
Yes.
junction box was something that they encountered that wasn't visible at the surface, and it couldn't be relocated, so it was adjusted in the pavement.
I'd make a motion, we approve this.
I would second that.
Okay. You want to repeat what your motion is? or-
Yeah, I had a motion to approve the, additional work order for the 150 trail with the 80% funding reimbursement as well.
Okay. Roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried.
Thank you. The next item you'll see on this is our recommendation then for final closeout. That project, this was kind of the last item that was hanging out. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, now, our digester cleaning service project change order.
With the issues that they're running into with the digesters, they started to take the insulation off of their backup digester, and it sprung a leak, so we have a gas leak out there that they're dealing with currently. They do have to get into the digester to examine the internal condition of the digester and to make any necessary repairs, which means that we have to clean out an additional digester. That's the not to exceed $70,000. $50,000 of it is in contingency construction, so it does add $20,000 or up to $20,000 to the overall contract for the digester cleaning, depending on how many gallons that they have to haul and spread.
I'd make a motion, we approve it.
I'd second it.
It has to be done.
Yeah,
Roll call.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
yes.
Shire,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next is wastewater facility improvement work change directive number 1.
This is a change order. They called it a work change directive, but I told them it had to come to the council regardless of what we called it. There are some adjustments within the wastewater treatment facility project that have to be addressed. The most significant one is there are 5 additional valves that have to be replaced for almost $12,000. The rest of it is the digester, cover plates that have to be adjusted, some iron piece or ductile iron that has to be changed or modified, et cetera. This is part of the $50,000 construction contingency. It does not increase the contract at this time. And these are all things that were found after they got into the renovations and repair work that they're doing.
I'd make the motion to approve them.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call.
Hill,
Yes.
Shire,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is First Street Bridge, Wapsie River repair. IWS.
This is to approve work to be done on the First Street Bridge over the Wapsie while this First Street construction is taking place. It's the same type of a project as what we did on Third Street Northeast. They core out a portion of the rotten cement and, in essence, replace it and patch it. There were some comments about the condition of some of the repair spots on Third Street Northeast Bridge. They determined that they did not take enough of the bad cement out or the failing concrete, and that's what created it. They are redoing that project. They'll repair those while they're here in town as well.
At their cost?
At their cost.
And they did start on that today.
Okay. They would like to get into the First Street Bridge as soon as possible. This is a $47,810 quote that they have. The other options that we looked at were grinding and doing an overlay. We were into the $200,000 to $240,000 range for any other types of repairs. We felt like we could do this a couple of times over the next 20 years and still be less expensive than the overlay proposal.
Have they done this someplace besides Third Street Bridge?
I'm not aware of where else they may have done this.
Not in Independence,
Right.
but other communities?
I'm not aware of where else they may have done it.
what type of warranty are we getting with this? That Third Street deal scares the crap out of me because that lasted one freeze-thaw cycle and it popped up fairly extensively, I thought. And that's on Third Street where there's, you know, about 1% of the traffic that First Street's gonna have. You know, what's gonna happen when we pound on that every day? I mean, you know, we're gonna get some kind of a 5-year warranty or 3-year warranty or no warranty or,
I have no warranty. We haven't been given any assurances other than the fact that the ones that they did put in that, I mean, some held, some did not. The ones that did not hold are the ones that they're repairing. But I'm not going to tell you that I have a 1-year, 3-year, 5-year. There is nothing.
I get that. I'm just saying I have some issues. I'm not impressed with that process. And I don't know if it's because they haven't done it very much, you know, I don't know. I don't know those answers. But we're taking on a pretty beefy project, with some I don't knows laying out there. pretty
Is this a
heavy.
local company?
Yes.
Okay.
Was there a representative besides Iowa Wall Sawing on this that, you mentioned at our Public Works, that's a representative came and I thought there was somebody besides Iowa Wall Sawing, maybe the materials provider?
Yeah, the material provider that Iowa Walsall uses for the,
It's an adhesive type of thing.
yeah, the compound that they put back in, that's who they were talking to about what happened on Third Street and you know, why did that happen on some of the patches and not all of them, et cetera. And that's who they referenced in saying, hey, we have to take more of the bad cement out so that they have a name for it and I'm drawing a blank now, but the adhesive or the poly form that they put in there would hold to.
But I guess, would there be an opportunity to maybe have that representative and somebody from Iowa Wausau at our May 28th meeting? Maybe they've done it in other communities and it's lasted for 5 years. It's, even if Iowa Walsawing hasn't done it on and on, just to kind of get a better feel since the first time round didn't seem to,
It didn't impress?
yeah.
So they're gonna take this concrete out and replace
They would core it out. In other words, they would cut the bad places out and patch it like they did on the Third
See, on
Street.
Third Street, that's not a sand core bridge, on Main Street it is. So they'd be pouring that right on sand there.
Well, it depends
They
on,
get down far enough.
yeah, it depends on how deep they go.
It's only that deep or so.
Well, I told them if they saw water, they went too far.
They didn't go down very deep on Third Street.
I don't think that, they don't have to go down very far on Main Street and they'll hit sand.
Well, but I mean,
I watched them pour.
what,
it.
6 inches?
No, it's more than that.
That-
But it's
I
not
mean, They
over.
weren't an inch or two.
No. It's like maybe 8 or 9 inches.
Can we just table this and
I say.
have their
Yes.
reps come?
And table this to the next meeting?
Is that a motion then?
You want to make that as?
I make a motion to table it till the 28th.
I'll second it. Go
Okay.
ahead, Carl.
Motion by Hill, second by Scharf. Roll call.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Carried, thank you. Next is a motion to approve and schedule roof repair at River Edge with Hawkeye Roofing Services in the amount of $55,569.25.
We did go through a competitive quote process. We showed you the 3 lowest bids for repair of the River's Edge roof. It is Hawkeye Roofing,
How much was it?
$55,569.25.
569. I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion by Kurtz, second by Hayward to approve. Roll call.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar.
Yes.
Just to make sure we're on the same page, this is for after July 1st. We just need to get them under contract so we get them in here this summer. But this is in the CIP for the next fiscal budget, and that's where it would take place.
Is this a total reconstruction of the roof?
Not a total reconstruction. I think they'll use what's there, but it is a new roof on top of what they have for the flat roof.
And I understand it's a 10-year guarantee.
It is a
right?
10-year guarantee on this roof, yes.
That's a poly coat, is it?
Yes.
Black or white?
White.
I think Bob told us at the Public Works meeting, we could do this 2 or 3 times for the next lowest bid.
Right.
Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to approve the watershed survey responses and submit to the Wapsie Watershed District.
Mayor, could I go back to the First Street Bridge? Could we, can we have like Brian Crawford be involved with this to see, I guess I'd like to have somebody that, besides us novices, taking a look at this process.
Yeah, we can reach out, if you'd like us to, we can reach out to Denny Sprague at Iowa Wall Sign and try and get an idea of how much of this type of work they've done, if they would be willing to offer a warranty like you guys talked about, and put together a summary of some other projects that they've done. I think it's an epoxy that they're using to do those repairs, and
Maybe you could make a little assessment for, or
sure,
whether you think it's feasible.
yep. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. If you'd like us to, we can reach out to Denny.
Okay.
We work with him a lot, so.
That's just a suggestion on my part, unless there's somebody with different.
Good idea.
That's a very good idea.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brian.
Does it need to be a motion or anything for that, does it? Okay.
Sorry. My 2GS computer's moving slow.
I'd make the motion, we approve the watershed survey results.
Thank you. Motion by Kurt, second by O'Loughlin. Roll call.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is a motion to approve the purchase agreement with First Attach and authorize initial payment on the fire department grass rig.
With the passage of the budget amendment, that makes this possible to do. That was included in the budget amendment. This is the initial down payment for the grass rig. It is being built currently if we approve this.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Hayward, second by Kurtz.
Was this in our
Right.
CIP?
Yes. This also has a grant from Blackhawk Gaming and other fundraising that the fire department's been doing. So the money's there, it's just about having the down payment so that we can get that initial check to them now instead of waiting until July to start the build.
I think, Dick, didn't you say, Dick, they have 4, 5, 6 of these? We kind of wanted to get ahead of some of the other ones.
Yeah, in fact, I was talking to them today, and they've got 4 or 5 more that they've got sold that they're anticipating having chassis in the next week. Ours is already sitting there ready to go. They're just waiting for money so that they can start building it.
Oh, good.
They want some money.
Yep.
Get that check in the mail.
They've already got their money wrapped up in buying the equipment and stuff for it, even though they knew that we were waiting for approval, but they went ahead and stepped out to do it, so it'd be nice to get them money as soon as we can.
Thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Boy, we're doing good tonight. Next is motion to approve an annual maintenance agreement with Frontline for weather sirens in the amount of $1,250.
I'd make the motion to approve it.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second it.
second by Lachlan. Roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is a motion to approve the write-off submitted by Independence Light and Power.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Kurtz, who's the loudest, I guess. Roll call.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried.
As a reference, this, even though you've approved the write-offs, they will be continuing to attempt to collect. That does not mean they stop attempting that collection. It's just that on the books, they have to go through the process of the write-off.
Yep. Next is a motion in regards to Ward 4 sidewalk project.
The Public Works Committee met with representatives from Precision Concrete Cutting, who you did approve a survey agreement with. For a number of reasons, they're very uneasy about the liability of conducting the survey and not doing the full project. The committee did discuss doing the procurement process on the front end to include the survey. I did put together two documents. They're similar but not identical. One specifies concrete cutting, the other one just says concrete repair, and that would be the most significant difference between the two documents. But I would ask for your consideration on securing an agreement to do not just the survey, but the survey and the repair work. And we'd open that up to all contractors who may have an interest.
As long as it's a competitive bid process, that's,
It's a competitive quote or an RFP process. It's not, and again, I want to be careful with the bids because we're not doing a formal bid document, designing it. We're asking them for proposals on, tell us how we're going to do the survey, identifying the repairs that have to be made, how they're going to do the repairs, et cetera, so.
What kind of brought this up was Precision Concrete Cutting at the Public Works meeting expressed concern that they go out and they list the potential hazard according to ADA criteria, and then all the other contractors, in the past, we've just said, okay, you fix it, and they're concerned that not all the contractors are fixing them according to ADA requirements, but yet somebody comes back and gets hurt, they're going to probably come back on them and on the city, and so they felt that whoever does the work on the sidewalk should also be doing the assessment, and then they'll take responsibility if something happens after the work's all done.
what if the person simply wanted to redo their own 2 blocks of concrete?
If the homeowner, what we have suggested is we'll notify people that we're doing this. Again, it's not new, this is our 4th year. Notify the homeowners that we're doing the survey. If somebody wants to fix it, replace it themselves, get out and do it. It is ultimately their responsibility. In a perfect world, we don't have to go out and tell them that there's an issue with the sidewalk. They should be doing that on their own. It doesn't work that way, and we understand that. But if we do the survey, enter into this agreement, they're going to do the survey, schedule the work to be done, and complete the work. The homeowners are assessed with the repair. But again, it's not new. It's something that if we are going to keep our sidewalks ADA compliant, and there's issues, anything over a quarter of an inch is out of ADA compliance.
But I've seen a lot of people grind their own.
Well, that's the problem. According to ADA, a half inch requires 6 inches of grinding back, and all they were doing was grinding the lip off
Right.
to 2 inches or so, and that, and considered it good. And that's part of the problem we're running into. Where with the cutting, where the concrete cutting process, they use a special machine that takes it to the ADA requirement. So it's an inch, 12 inches to an inch.
Right.
What about the landowners that's already had it done? If it wasn't done correctly, now they gotta do it again?
That's another problem.
Part of the issue is we're doing this on a 5-year cycle. We're doing each ward once every 5 years. It is something where we'll get back in and review all the sidewalks again. You know, it's just part of the process. And sidewalks don't stay stable. You know, they change and they shift. So it's not something we can do at once and say, hey, we're done. There'll be others that have to be, taken care of.
Most of them shift because of the tree roots, so
That can happen.
that's a major cause of it, I think.
And what is the issue about that with tree roots? I mean, are we gonna take the trees down for the people?
Some trees do have to come down, others, they want the trees there, we, leave the trees up. I don't know that we want to go through and say we're going to be a community without trees. I don't think that's the right answer, but that is part of the risk, is it does affect the sidewalks. Or it can, it doesn't in every case. We haven't addressed the replacement of sidewalks. We have several sidewalks that need to be replaced. We've been keeping track of those. We know which ones they are in the first 3 wards, but we're waiting until we have enough to make it a worthwhile bid, if you will, to have somebody come in and replace sidewalks. It's better if we do a larger chunk than to try and piecemeal it a little bit here and there.
And Precision Concrete did say that if somebody replaces their whole sidewalk, or, the section where the bad part is for half of their property, you're gonna be ADA compliant then. It's just a matter of when you're just basically making a dip because you're taking the lip off and not tapering it off far enough back. So, they just didn't want to do the survey and assume liability. So we're making this open to all the contractors that have expressed in the past, and if they want to do this, rather than having it be a free-for-all, because I can come in and I can do this for $15 and it's not done right, but the homeowner thinks it's done right. The contractor's not doing it ADA approval.
Right.
So if your sidewalk needs replaced, what are we doing for that?
Well, the replacement, again, we have, in the first 3 wards, we've identified through the survey, those that have to be replaced. We want to wait until we have enough linear feet of sidewalk to make it worth a contractor's
So you're
time to come and do
talking
it.
years.
Either this summer or next summer, we'll have to do a replacement plan. I mean, theoretically, it'd be nice to do the whole town as one.
Those people just get away with not doing their walk for how many years? And then if we're doing 5 wards every year, and the people that get a few dings, they're taking care of theirs, then you got people that their walk hasn't been touched for 10 years. We've got those.
I can show you a state sidewalk, it's got craters in it that deep.
So
They worry about us.
we can do the replacement either this summer or next summer, identifying them. The property owners have been notified that have to replace sidewalk, so they know it. Several have, not all of them have, obviously. But again, if the city's going to go through and take on this replacement project, we want to make sure there's enough to where we have, get a contractor's
By more
interest.
volume.
Well, not only that, but you'll find that if all I'm doing is, even 100 feet of sidewalk, some contractors won't look at anything that small. That's too small of a project for the work that they have to do. We need to make sure it's a project that's large enough to get their attention so that they'll put some effort into it and have an interest in bidding on it.
On the motion we're looking for here on the replacement program, are we better off going with repair versus cutting?
Well, and that's my question.
Try and
too.
get responses?
Right. I took part of what we heard at the meeting on, the Public Works meeting, and part of where I not everybody's cutting, so I'm giving you both options so that you have them there, but in essence, we're saying much the same thing. The requirements are identical as far as what we need from them in the survey. One specifies repair, the other specifies cutting.
I know we're gonna get flack whichever way we go, but
Can it be repair/cutting? Seeing both words in there.
Well, if I say repair, it just opens it up to more than just cutting.
Okay.
And there are other
either lifting or
solutions.
grinding or whatever.
Yeah, as long as they meet the ADA, and that's the difficult part about grinding is getting that length to meet ADA requirement for slope. The other thing that we haven't talked about that is significant is the cross slope also has to meet ADA requirements. And that isn't generally the case, but we have had sidewalks where, you know, it's a cross slope issue as well as a lip that has to be addressed, so.
We do not have a motion on the floor yet. Nobody wants to make a motion? Or you're not sure how to word it?
The thing is, we wanted to try to make it so we're not eliminating contractors just because they don't have a particular type of piece of equipment.
So with that thinking, I make a motion, we do the RFP on repair and survey.
In the fourth ward.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Kurt, second by Hill. You got that?
Yeah, I had it written out before they made it.
Would you like to do a roll call then, like, since you're already prepared?
It's already done.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
What actually is the motion?
I wrote down, secure an agreement for survey and repair work with competitive quote process for the fourth ward sidewalks.
Yes.
Vaughn,
No.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried.
Does that work okay for you, John?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is a police, is this the discussion? Oh, this is squad car purchase first.
And don't worry, in the fourth ward, I gotta replace my entire sidewalk because of a tree, so it's good. There may be no repair
So you
there.
cut the tree down?
It's already down.
Oh.
Yeah, it's down and gone. It just, roots I gotta cut out still now. So. In our CIP for this upcoming year, we have in there budgeted for a new squad car to replace the one we have, numbered 53. It's getting to about the end of its life cycle with us having more and more issues, so that's one that would be trading in on when we purchase a new one. We're looking for is just the approval to go and actually purchase a new one or have it set up so that we can get started on that, so we can actually have it sometime this fall.
Can the equipment that was used in 53 be applied to the new one?
Yes. It's a Ford Explorer, just like the 153 is. The only difference is, I haven't seen the 2020s. And my understanding is some of the exterior stuff of it has changed, which is not an issue because most of all of our stuff is interior-wise. I've been told that it should fit over without any problems, maybe a little bit of changing of some panels here and there, like adjusting them to make it fit, but other than that, there shouldn't be really much of an issue.
And you're wanting to do this ahead of the new fiscal year? That's,
We have to, they have to order it, then it has to be built, then it gets brought here, because it gets built specifically for the order. And then it gets sent here, then we have to have it to sign some more to be striped, has to go down to Raycom, so does 53, to have everything moved out of 53 into the new one. So it's a long process for us to go through. So what I'm looking at is just the approval to go talk to Mr. Butler about getting it ordered, so.
In essence, we won't order or purchase anything without it coming through council in the CIP or not. We're asking, similar to the grass rig, for your permission to order it now. This would be a September, October, if it holds true, it'd be a September, October delivery.
So it'd be the next fiscal year.
So it's into the next fiscal year. We've been able to work off the state contract, which is the numbers that you're looking at. We don't have the exact bid or trade-in bid yet from them, so it would be state bid minus trade-in of 53. You have the authority to buy off of state bid, but we're just trying to start that process now, so it's not January, February when that comes in.
Do we price check anywhere?
State bid is state bid everywhere. I mean, it's something that the state comes in and that's set the state bid that's the lowest, lower than anybody can usually sell it to us at, so.
When he says state bid, you understand he's not talking locally, he's talking about like Carl Chevrolet, Ankeny, wherever.
Yep.
Anyone within the state, Deb, is allowed to purchase that vehicle. The thing I just want to remind them is, I've seen this happen before. We ordered a vehicle and it come sooner than I thought, and they didn't want it to set on their lot, which I understand. But I'd like it to make it perfectly clear, it doesn't come until the fiscal, the monies are here.
Right.
Okay,
And
because,
with John, since I've been here working with him, he understands that we don't take possession until after the fiscal year, whether it sits there for a while or not.
thank you, okay.
I'd make a motion, we go ahead and approve it.
I'll second that.
Motion by Kurt, second by O'Loughlin. Roll call.
Sharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hale.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next on the agenda is police station discussion.
Before we go to that, I did
wanna-
move in the Crowbar liquor license. I put it here.
Oh, for a
as
discussion.
As letter O under new business. Again, it moved off the consent agenda, so.
So is that just discussion, or is that, you have to approve that off of the,
You can take whatever action you choose to at this point, because it was on the consent agenda, so it is an action item.
okay,
It's just that it, on the consent agenda, that's not the place for discussion.
Well, Denny and Carl, what concerns do we have with,
I think I misread that. It says it does say Class C liquor license, LC. What does the LC stand for?
Stands for liquor control.
I was gonna say I have to pull up the attachment.
Okay, up there where it's, where the name of the application, it says Crowbar, the Crowbar LLC.
Has to do with their business.
That's
Yeah.
their business name.
LLC is the
Liability corporation.
yeah, that's their corporate.
And do we have the dram shop insurance?
Yes, none of these come to us until Dram Shop is approved. Iowa ABD will not forward a liquor license to the local authority until Dram Shop is approved. After that, I get a notification from ABD. I forward it on to our police department, our fire department, our building department to have the proper checks and inspections completed before we give it to you.
The reason I asked, there's no expiration date for it.
Yeah, it does say a term of 12 months, however, so that's what we listed in there, is for
Okay.
12 months.
Then I guess I have no problems with it.
Well, Carl, you had,
No, my situation, now I understand that they are applying separately from, not from the Legion, which has the permit within the inside. This just contains to the outside sales with Crowbar.
Yeah, anything that the Crowbar is selling for liquor, they have to have their own license. They are not able to operate as the Crowbar using someone else's license. They have to have their own. That's a requirement by the
Carl, the C, or what is it, Class C license, that's the same thing as their major liquor license.
So that'll cover that?
That'll
What you're
cover.
saying then?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. I'm fine then.
So would one of you two like to make a motion to approve the Crowbar Class
I'll
C
make a
commercial outdoor service and Sunday sales liquor license?
Yeah, what she said there.
And I'll second it.
Okay,
All the
motion,
inspections been done? Fire, police?
I always have Darwin take care of them, and I had it in my box, everything's there. They have no history. It's a new business, there's no history to them. So, everything's been done in the background wise.
can this be a simple motion? You don't need a roll call
Yeah,
for
it
this?
can be simple.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose the same, motion carried. Thank you. Now we're going back down to the police station discussion, as to whether we go into closed session or not.
We do have the lease proposal. There is a modified lease proposal addressing some of the comments that we had in our committee of the whole meeting last week. I guess if we're going to have any discussion on negotiation, pricing, whether it be for lease or purchase, that should be done in a closed session.
So if we want to extend the lease, we have to go to closed session to discuss that first?
Unless you're going to take it as is, and then you have to discuss which lease. Are you going to take the addition, or the original lease, or the modified lease? There was discussion about our current lease. We have an extension through June 30th of 2020 with an option of going to June 30th of 2021. I think you've got several pieces here that you would probably want to discuss.
So the existing lease, we could go 2 years, basically.
We have
With those
24
with the new
months.
lease, we'd have to take a 5-year.
We have, well, that's part of the discussion that you have to have. There's a couple of hybrids in there, but we do have the option right now of going through June 30th of 2021 under our current lease with the 3% annual increase.
And if we go to the 5-year, it would go through when?
Depends on when you initiate it.
Yeah.
If you wait until the current leases are
Well,
finished,
Since we already signed our
extension,
initial extension,
right?
would he go back to when we signed the initial extension and go 5 years?
What he proposed was July 1 of this year,
Okay.
going 5 years out. That was his proposal initially.
Should we, maybe this is discussion we should be going into closed session about?
That would be, now, because he presented it in open session, we can talk that much.
Okay.
I would recommend that you consider a closed session to discuss
Some of those details.
all of the details you have there, as well as, anything else that you want to discuss on purchase price.
If I could jump in here, Al, I do have to note for the council that, excuse me, pursuant to an IPID decision that came down actually just this year, you don't have authority to go into closed session to discuss the terms of a lease. I do understand that you have a purchase proposal on the table. Now, the Iowa Public Information Board has said that you can discuss leases as alternatives to a purchase proposal, but if we're going to enter closed session,
It has to be
you're going to need to have the intent to discuss the possibility of purchase of land. Am I correct to understand that that's an alternative here?
Yes.
Okay.
Which we
If the
still,
council chooses to, yes.
we actually go into closed session discussing the purchase proposal, and during that time would also discuss the lease in that session?
That's right.
If
So,
we go from purchase to lease?
yep, IPID has said that you can't talk about just leases under the exception to,
Okay.
yeah.
I make a motion, we go into closed session.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Roll call?
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar.
Yes.
Okay, so we will now be going into closed session.
Can I take a restroom real quick?
Yes.
Thanks for coming,
Still
everybody.
driving car 54.
Hopefully this won't be
I
long.
held back joking about that.
We're getting closer to our 3 hours.
Hi there, sir.
Are you cutting us off at 3 hours?
Are you on? Okay.
Did you hit the sound?
So I need a motion to enter back into open session.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by O'Loughlin. Who second, who so moved over here? Okay. Well, I had two motions. Motion by O'Loughlin, second by Scharf. Roll call.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay, we are in open session. Are there any motions in regards to what was discussed?
I make a motion that we finalize a 5-year lease with our current rental property owner and enter into it
For the police station.
for a police station.
I would just take it as direction to finalize the lease and bring it back for your approval. I think you want to approve a
Okay.
finalized lease.
Yes. What he said.
Okay.
Second.
Do you need a roll call for that also?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Motion carried. We don't need to do anything on the
I think
purchase.
that's all I need, because that gives you the results of everything else.
Do we need to give you any direction on what to say to the realtor?
Oh, no.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, we are down to reports. And I need to read a proclamation, so I'm going to go first, since this is happening this weekend. Poppy proclamation, whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers, whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died in the field of battle, whereas a nation of peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war, whereas the red poppy has been designated a symbol of sacrifice and lives in all wars, and whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of the debt through the distribution of memorial flowers, therefore I, Bonita Davis, Mayor of Independence, Buchanan County, Iowa, do hereby proclaim this 17th, 18th, and 19th days of May 2019 as Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day and witness thereof. So this has been signed. I want to make sure, because of the topic, I want to make sure that got written in here. Now, if there was any, there's no committee meeting reports or any updates from some of those, or we've already discussed most of them during the process of our,
We had 3 committee meetings, but I think we've covered most of the highlights of those meetings here. With the
Okay.
exception of government performance finance, we'll have some items coming to the next agenda.
okay.
And I don't want to speak for the committee members if they had anything else to add.
Okay, I have 2 department heads. Do either of you have a report you want to make? Nothing from the fire department?
I will. Oh, okay. Fourth of July. I know that event is always busy. I know you.
I'm gonna give this to you.
Last year,
Copy of that.
Juan reached out to me about having actually hiring somebody down, or hiring security down at the park, as a way to help prevent any issues. So I worked it out with him last year, that if he would, because he hires an officer to watch the equipment and stuff overnight. Usually one of the reserves signs up for it, but it's paid not through the city, but paid by the committee themselves. And I worked it out with him, instead of him spending a bunch more money hiring some security people that don't know the area and so forth, if he would hire one full-time officer to stay down in the park those 2 days, I would assign another one down there. So that way we'd have 2 of them that were assigned to that park area. We did it last year, worked out very well. He's asked to do it again this year, so we're gonna do that again this year. Brinkma's gone right now, but when he gets back, they've been discussing it, so we'll have it set up. So we'll have another 2 this year that are assigned down. One is paid by my department, one paid by the 4th of July committee. So it just helps out, and I can address with them if we do, like I said, watch out for the fencing and make sure we don't have any issues with the, so. So that was one thing I wanted to bring up to you. Today, we had a Career on Wheels out at the East Elementary. I believe there was a fire truck there as well. He's not paying attention. Anyhow, Officer Isley and we had our squad car out there. Really enjoyed being a part of that type of stuff with the community. So he absolutely loves it as well, being his kids in that age too. So his kid was out there walking around. I know my wife took our kids out, and that was from 4 to 7. Tomorrow is Career Day at West. I will be there all morning long, seeing a bunch of kids coming and going, asking about our career and what we do. So I have been working today with a few things, putting stuff together to bring out there with me. So also currently we have we, in our CIP, we had in there to put a new server in to take care of all of our camera systems, and stuff that we have downloaded. They are currently here, they came today, the gentleman that is working with putting everything together flew in from Texas, yesterday. He drove over this morning, spent all day today, he'll be here today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, getting everything up to where it should be before he takes off and flies back home. So, I say it's a long time coming, but we actually, one of my officers just sent me a message last night saying he got a message saying we are almost full again with storage space, so it couldn't be at a better time to actually have them here to put in place. So otherwise we'd be looking for a storage device to add on to what we already had. So, but everything else has been running smoothly so far. But it's summertime, it's getting very busy, so I know I've been running every which way now, so.
Thank you.
Chief, are they still doing the drive-bys out at the dog park, checking on?
I have spoken with them to do some, and they should be. So, I know if I go to the gym, when I leave the gym in the morning, if there's somebody there, I'll stop and talk to them. Usually the same guy is there every morning, so, and I know he has his, I checked it once, so. But yeah, no, I haven't spoken with them anytime that they have available time to drive by there at least once for their shift, so.
Thank you.
Okay, Gina, you want to go before the council? Got something?
I don't have anything.
Nothing? Al, you got anything?
I do. The annual League of Cities Conference is in Dubuque this year, September 25th through the 27th. I've heard from a couple of folks that have an interest in going. If you have an interest, let me know. We'll get you in on the list.
When is it, Al?
September 25th through the 27th.
How soon do you have to know about that, Al?
We have some time. I was just wanting to make sure we get registered early and get a block of rooms,
We have to stay there for that? To view?
if you want to.
You can go downtown if you want to. Or the
I
casino.
will probably go.
You can put me down also.
Is there an online itinerary where you can look over which day would be the best?
There will be, there isn't currently, they just put it out there, and I'm just wanting to make sure we get ahead of it if we can, so.
Put me down, Al.
You
I
going,
assume
Al?
it's gonna be in that Grand Harbor area.
Yeah,
Yes,
nice place.
it is.
Usually the middle day is
The
the best one.
Thursday is the day to be there, yeah.
Sweet potatoes. It is.
So-
You going there, Carl?
Yeah, I'm going.
I'll go then.
Okay, anything else?
That's the highlight of what I have for you.
We didn't convince our attorney that he had to speak? He knows he doesn't have to?
Time for my speech?
Not when I saw how long it was. No.
I'll cut it back to an hour and a half.
No, 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 no. If it's going to be that long, I'll let you pass this time. Deb, would you like to start as far as council is concerned? Do you have anything?
I just had one question. When the citywide cleanup, if people have them pick their stuff up, it says it's $25, so is that $25 for everything they put out, or?
It is a one-time pickup fee for whatever they put out. We don't have anything to do with that. That's straight directly with Waste Management, and that just covers their costs for picking up. Now, I think that if it gets to be too extreme, they might balk at that. I haven't heard of them rejecting anything at this point, but that's an arrangement they make with Waste Management.
Because they do a site visit to find out what all you've got, I think. So if you got too much, they may tell you it's more. I don't know.
Their route manager will go out there. You have to call ahead of time because they have special Saturday hours for their route driver, or they'll try and, actually, they'll encourage you to put it out earlier in the week, and they'll come pick it up Monday through Friday if they can.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, that's why they want you to connect with them ahead of time and let them know that you have a
Give them like 2
special
weeks'
pickup.
notice? That's what we tell our patrons, or what?
Well, generally, they want to know the week ahead.
Okay.
You know, if they know the week ahead, so they can schedule their guys in there. But again, the route drivers or the route manager is the one that's going to be working on that. And they can either contact Waste Management or let them know at Independence Light and Power if you want a special pickup.
Okay, thanks, that's all I had.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Mike, you have anything? Carl?
I have nothing.
Bob?
Nothing?
Mike? John?
Nothing.
Denny?
Let's go home.
Okay, I ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
Yep, you got it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We're out of here. And we made it within our 3-hour.